I think I get about 60 minutes on this. Again, it's for me. So anyone who watched this later, I've been gone for 2 weeks. I work for a company in England, in Cambridge, and we had a week over there, and I took a little vacation beforehand. And so right before I left, I did a few things. So I have a number of streams, and I say this at the beginning every single time. I truly mostly do this for me because it's an easy way for me to go back and see what I did each time I was at the Beehives. It's pretty hard to like take notes even on a phone when you're working with the bees because your hands get pretty gummy. And so I just found like, oh, this is easy and it's kind of free. Like I can just do it. So that's why I do it. But I love to talk about what I'm doing because I just love talking about bees. So what I did is I had two strong hives. I've split them over the time. So I'm going to start with this one. I had one queen cell on this hive. This was a queen that I saved. She was almost dead coming out of winter. I was able to save her. And so I looked like she was getting ready to split because they created a queen cell, which really surprised me. But there's only one. And so last minute before I left, I decided to put that queen cell in here on a Sunday, so 2 weeks ago. On Tuesday, I left Tuesday night, not quite 2 weeks ago. I came out here and I was like, I wonder if this queen cell's emerged yet. And I lifted the lid up and the queen was sitting right on top. She had already emerged and they were breaking the cell down. So I know there's a queen in here. I have a new queen on this one at the end and a new queen over here. And then the other two were the existing queens. So since I've been gone, I have no idea what's happened. What I need to see is this queen, did she go out and mate and come back, and is she laying eggs? If she is, that's awesome. I have a whole bunch of equipment strewn all over here to quickly try and set up so that I can create a new hive out of that. Although it does look like I'm missing one piece, unless I have, shoot, might be. Wonder where I put that. All right, I might need to go get a bottom board. I can make something work for a little bit. And so that's the main goal. I got to do this, and I got to quickly get into at least the two other hives and see if those queens are laying. And then I'm actually trying to take honey off as well. When I was out here, there was lots of nectar in these, and if they've turned it into honey, I'm going to take it out. We're going to extract honey tomorrow. Have some people over and extract honey. So that's the goal. We're just going to. So what I need is what's called a bottom board. And I was sure that I brought one out here ahead of time. And it looks like of all the stuff I brought, that's the one thing I didn't bring out, unless I'm missing it. So I may have to make do for the moment, and then I'll go get one. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this. And they were just swarming. They weren't swarming. They were just really being active over here. So they're just crawling all over. If I'm not careful, I'll get myself stung. But, oh, it's really heavy. So there's a lot going on. So I think what I'm going to do is I might see if there's someone outside I can ask to go up and get it. Otherwise, I might have to leave here for a second and run up and get that bottom board because I don't know what else I can do. I'd like to try and be, yeah, I'll figure that one out. That's kind of annoying of everything I brought down. So the goal here is, that's why I brought this one out. This is pretty much an empty, I'm going to take, there's 6 frames in here. I'm going to put them in here and then put some, there's a spider in here and some other stuff, but they'll clean all that out. I'm going to put that in here and they will just create some new, they'll use this as a new hive. So that's the goal. And so the bees are flying back. They're like, wait, where's my queen at? They're trying to get in there. So I think just so that I can do this correctly, I'm going to go ahead and grab that bottom board. Take me a minute and a half to run up and get it and come down. So I'm going to do that. Enjoy watching the bees fly around. I'll be right back. This headphone will probably disconnect. Probably fun listening to someone run. So the cool thing is that on the property, while we've been gone, man, out of breath. Feel pretty silly here. While we've been gone, there's lots of clover on the ground, and so they have been happily using all that clover. So show you how adaptable bees can be. It doesn't really, things don't have to be perfect. My dad made this bottom board for me a couple years ago in an emergency, and it turns out it was just an inch too small, a half inch on each side. But what's in the middle is fine, and so I just use it rather than having to worry. So here we go. Let's see what's going on in here. I got to be careful. So many bees. I'm sure you can kind of see that. So what I'm going to do is just knock these bees down into this hive. So this box is a box that I got previously. This is how I buy what we call nuke. So we're going to gently pull these out. Don't see queen. So again, first thing we're doing is just looking to see if we have a queen. Now, if I have a better frame on here for them to work from, yeah, this one looks a little bit better. So I'll put this one in because they're not doing much with this. They have, a new hive, I would expect them to have built more comb on it than they did. So, all right, so here's the deal. Do we have a queen that is laying eggs? That is what we care about. All right, so a lot of nectar. So it's also, do we have a queen? Did she go out and come back? That is an important thing. So they're getting lots of nectar. So that happened. There are no eggs in here, and that's very possible. The queen could not have come back. There's a lot of things that can eat a queen, or she just didn't make it home for some reason. But we're going to keep moving these over, assuming that there is. And this would be right about the time. So with this queen, I'm going to assume that we would have eggs by now. I could be off by just a few days, but we're going to real gently. Oh, and there's eggs in here. So I have a queen, and she's laying eggs. I haven't seen the queen yet, but I have her, and she's laying eggs. That amazes me every single time. It happened. So a queen emerged from the cell in here, and she flew and came back, in theory. She's only laying one egg. There's a bunch of little eggs in the bottom of each of these cells. I don't see the queen yet. So I'm being really careful here. And so I got a new hive. And that's what happened. So as long as she's not on here, I'll bring this over so you can see. I'm just being really careful because she is new. And I don't want to take any chances here. All right, I do not see the queen on here anywhere. So what I can see, so this is how they do it, right? So I put this in. This is honey out here. There's pollen right under here. Then all of this is cells. And at the bottom of those cells, I can see teeny tiny little eggs. And they're fresh. So she is just starting to lay. So I'll move that over. So I'm expecting I'm going to find this queen on one of these. And, oh, yeah, she's like, there's some eggs I've hatched. She's been laying for a few days. This is pretty cool. I still don't see her. She's doing her job. Hey, lady, where are you? You got to be on here somewhere. Yeah, this is always the hardest part. I know I get all of a sudden kind of silent because I'm just looking to see. But she seems to be laying very well. Like there's a lot of eggs, and so she's really filling us up. So it'd be good for them to have another. I'm going to actually add a second box on here, I don't want to limit her in any way. If she's a new queen and she's doing a good job, I want her to lay eggs. Hello? Where are you, queen? Are there eggs on this one yet? Man, she is not obviously here, except for the eggs. So I know she's around. So there's a bunch of bees on this one. Be real gentle. Leave this out. Let's see if she's on here somewhere. Now this is all nectar. It's a very heavy frame. There's definitely a chance she could be walking around on here. It'd be unusual, but it's happened. I've seen it. Not there. Let's check this side. All right, so this is a bit of a conundrum. I haven't actually seen her. I just see evidence of her, and it's only a 5 box hive. Like that's just kind of annoying because I really would prefer to like see her, have a visual, and I've not. Usually, what happens is the queen is, she's around, like she's moves a lot, so I expect to be able to see her with some attendants around, and I don't see that. So I'm not going to put this one in yet. I want to have a little space. So I may go back through, well, I guess I can take these empty ones out. I may go back through here just to see if I can locate her, because that would make me a whole lot happier to know that I really got her in here. So there's a whole bunch of bees in this box, and there's a chance she could be in there. That would be, oh, there she is. Okay, so I do see the queen now. She's definitely bigger than last time. So what we're going to do is see if I can just quickly grab her to make sure she gets in here. That way I don't hurt her. Yeah, so she's on the side, moving fast. Where'd she go? All right, so she's in here. I just got to wait for her to pop back up. So sorry to be kind of silent here. Where are you, Queenie? This is, honest goodness, this is one of the most frustrating parts. If I just turn this over and bang them in, I might hurt her, and I do not want to do that. Okay, she's right here. Let's see if I can just grab her. There she is. Okay. All right, so she's here. I have her in there now. Do I have her in there? All right, so she's in there. They're going to be really happy. There's a whole bunch of bees, so I can. It's not much to show you, but this is the little clip I have. And I did hurt, unfortunately. I trapped a little bee there, but that's not the queen. So she's in there walking around, and these bees would just be there to attend to her. So I'm just going to keep her in there for a minute. And here's what I'm going to do. This is like the really technical part of beekeeping. I'm going to take this box. It has all these bees in it. I'm simply going to turn it over. And I'm going to go. And most of the bees go down in there. There are just a couple. Oh, there's still some more in there. I'll do that again. Try and do it sideways so that they have something to land on. And I don't want to get splinters in my fingers. It's like particle board. All right, we have a queen. We have a laying queen. We have frames for them to use. So she's going to get some extra space. She's laying eggs. This is all really, really positive signs. So the only other thing we need to check now is, since these are all brand new eggs, I won't know for like another week if they are drone cells or regular worker bees. We want mostly workers. If she didn't mate correctly, she could still lay eggs, but they just wouldn't be fertilized, and then it becomes a drone hive and it's going to die. She is physically, like, she looks like she is mated. She's physically bigger, So she is really developing. So when I first saw her, she was a little bit smaller, kind of had a blackish torso, and now she looks more like a true queen, like kind of the brownish yellow, brownish tan torso, things like that. So I'm going to open this up. She is out and down there somewhere. So she is with her people. I'm going to do that. Gently put these back together. So we've created a fifth hive. So I'm now at 5 hives. I thought I would maybe give this one away, but as I've been away for 2 weeks, I'm like, you know what? I currently have enough supplies, I think, for to do this. So that's the goal. And then what I'm going to do, I do wish I had an extra big box, but we were just, for Father's Day, my kids were really gracious and my wife to help me clean up. I had a really bad infestation of wax moth. And so I have a couple boxes I'm just going to burn because they're so bad. Everything else we scraped probably 25 or 30 frames. We're going to wash all them off really well. And then I'll have at least 1 or 2 more deep boxes I can use again. So I'm just going to let this be. Oh, that's funny. And then I have a top board here. We'll put this top board on. They're doing great. So there we go. That's how you get another hive. And then I do have a lid, but what I'm going to do for now, I may have to use this lid in a little bit, and I'll show you why. All right. Great. So now we're going to get at, so we have another new hive. That's awesome. We can put this back on. And now I have a box that I can use. The bees will keep coming back to this box if I let it here for a little bit. For the next day or so, her pheromone smell will be in here, and they would keep coming back to it if I left it out here. So I'm going to set this aside. We'll take that back up to the garage in a little bit. So now what we're going to do is this. I'm going to kind of a couple things. I'm going to probably just start by going through this one since I'm set up here. I'm going to roll the wheelbarrow over here, and if I find honey that's ready to be extracted, I'm going to slowly start to take it away so that we can spin honey. And I always say spin honey because that's what you do. You put it in a centrifuge, and it spins the honey out once you cut the comb off the top, or the wax off the top. So that's all this is. It's just an empty super. I have a piece of wood beneath it so no bees can get in. And we're just going to start going through this hive. I just want to check on the queen, check on the hive itself, and see what the deal is. So, all right. So we have another new good queen in there. The thing I need to check next, so in a week or so, and I'm leaving next week. So next weekend, probably on Saturday, I'll have to come out and just quickly get down in there and see if those are worker bees or not. If they are not worker bees, then I have an unfertilized queen and we have a problem. So, all right, next. Here we go. So the stream, I think, can only go for an hour. I didn't realize this. I think it's the software I'm using on the phone. The battery might not even last that long, honestly. Is only good for an hour now. They changed it. That's fine. I just need to pay for it. I just need to go figure out what that is, but I don't think about it. So I put this box on here, and honestly, I'm a little bit annoyed. I thought they would start to draw this comb out more than they have. They haven't done much of anything up here. So that could mean a couple of things. It could mean, notice I didn't use any smoke. These bees have just been so great, to be honest with you. So it could mean that this hive has split. This was the queen that would laid the queen cell that's now in that box. She may have still decided to split because they've done very little. These are all empty. But yeah, but they are filling it. So this has some capped honey on it. So they're working on it. They're starting to repair this. So yeah, we'll see what's happening. All right, so let's put the stuff back in, get this off. You know, it's going to be easier for me. Honestly, I'm just going to put this on top of here. All right. Oh, this last one over here must be pretty full because it's pretty heavy. One of these must have some weight to it. Interesting. And again, I'm not even looking for the queen up here. If there's very few bees up here, the queen is not going to be up here because the queen needs attendants to live. So if there's not a cluster of bees up here, she can't really live. So she's not going to be up here. So now I expect a lot of these frames to be full of honey. Let's see what the deal is. We've been having a drought, but they were doing pretty well. So let's see. Let's see what's going on. Sorry, I definitely am dealing with allergies. All right, so here's the deal. This is really full, but I'm going to show you this. This did have new bees on it. So since I've been gone, they hatched. This is all capped. That was not capped before. They're filling this with nectar, and that will be capped soon, but it's not capped today. So I prefer not to try and spin that out because just it's going to not be as thick, and that's just kind of annoying. So this is going to be the annoying part. If all of these look like that, and right now they're all looking like that, so I might actually have to wait to extract honey. We'll just have to see what the rest of this looks like. They had a lot of the combs in the deep box filled up. I don't normally spin out deep boxes, but if it's all full, I might. We'll see what happens. Yeah, this is all getting close, but none of this is ready yet. So I could wait another week or two. Maybe when I get back, it'll be 4th of July weekend or holiday. I bet most of this will be capped by then. I'm just really like casually looking for the queen. Since this is all nectar and honey, I don't expect her to be up here. Yeah, so this is all almost honey, but it's not quite honey yet. Honey that's ready to be extracted, which I was hoping it would be. So I guess we'll see what happens. That other hive over there might have some, yeah, super heavy, like they're close, but they are not quite there yet. None of this was capped when I left, so let me come show you. Just make sure there's no queen on here. It doesn't look like there is. So when I left, none of this was capped, but this is all capped. It looks very similar on the other side, so they cap it from the top down normally. So once it is all capped, then we can take that frame out and we can extract honey from it. And so I have a full super that is really close. I would guess certainly within the next 2 weeks. I could take this entire super off and extract the honey. So there's a couple ways I can encourage them to do that. Sometimes I've had success by moving this above this new one. That kind of encourages them to use that bottom one, like start to build comb, but then they finish this stuff up first. This is where I wish I didn't have a hood on because I would kind of dip my finger in that nectar and the honey and see how it was. All right, so I'm a little disappointed. I thought most of this would be ready, but it's good to know. I'm not going to rush anything. When we do extract this year, as long as it's in the next 2 weeks or so, I would feel comfortable taking a fair amount off because I get a lot of good fall nectar here. So I feel good about that. All right, let's see if we can get this thing going again. I don't really need it, but throw some more wood chips in here. All right. I apologize, man. Allergies have been bad since I came back. So I'm going to move this over. I'm just going to keep going. So now I'm kind of looking for the queen. I want to see if they've built any comb. And, oh my goodness, that is heavy. So, I mean, heavy. It's like, I mean, when this is full, 8 frames deep, I mean, medium, that'd be 35, 40 pounds. That's a lot to kind of lift off when it's up like this. All right, so here's what I'm looking for. I really wanted them to build comb. I gave them new frames, and at first glance, it doesn't look like they did. So that's really annoying. Because the problem is they're filling this with honey, and there's no space for her to lay more brood. And so they're just going to leave. So nothing was done to this in 2 weeks' time. Now, I thought this one did have more wax on it, but they have done nothing with it. That's really disappointing. The one next to it is a little bit. I guess they have been starting to on both sides. Yeah, this had a lot of wax on it, and they are doing a little bit. Yeah, I'm going to be out here for a little bit. You guys can eat. I may, after this one, go in and have dinner, then come back out. Yeah. All right. Yeah, so they're not building comb, which I wish they would. But they are making honey. Lots of honey. No queen here. So my big concern is that the queen is still, she was the one that laid the egg, the queen cell that is now next to it here. And the concern is that she still split anyway, but they are not capping this honey. So this is kind of annoying. I have to be honest with you. Yeah, these frames are all filled with nectar, but they're not capping it. Don't see the queen on here. I wouldn't expect her to be. Again, her job is laying brood, and so she's often going to be wherever the brood is at. Not always, but she'll often be down there wherever the brood is. All right, so this feels like it's going to be pretty full. So this is a very heavy frame. It is half capped of honey. And they're working on it slowly but surely. They have a couple, there's not queen cells, they're what they're called queen cups. This is like a spot that they could lay a queen when they're ready to split. So they've put a number of them on this frame, and this is kind of interesting, but doesn't mean much. Oh man, I was hoping I would come back after this trip and all these frames I'm pulling out, I was just kind of hoping that they would be capped with honey and capped. They're just not quite there yet. Okay, so they're building this one out. So this frame they've rebuilt out. It is new comb. So that's good. Let's see, are there eggs in here or is this nectar? They're just laying nectar. I don't think there are eggs on this one. All right. So here's what I'm gonna have to see down below. Is there still brood? Does it look like I have a queen? And if not, then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do. Well, what I'll do is take cells from another hive and bring them over here. Lots of honey. So this is again just almost all ready to be capped, but not quite. Lots of nectar. Lots and lots of nectar. So they won't cap it till it's the right consistency. So that's part of what's going on here. Is I think I've shared this before. You can kind of think of honey as nature's syrup, and the bees are the heat source. So the bees take the nectar, which is 4 parts sugar, 4 parts water to 1 part sugar, and they evaporate the water out of it as they pack it in there. That thickens it up, and it becomes honey. All right, so here's the challenge for me now. I'm going to take this lid. I'm going to set, oh, Mr. B. I'm going to set this one over behind me. Let's see what's going on. Oops, sorry. That's never fun. All right, so there's a whole bunch of bees back here. It definitely means one of them is probably going to try and crawl up my leg, which is never a ton of fun. All right, so what we want to see, I'm really annoyed by the sandwiches. Is there brood in here? And I'll be honest, I don't really see any. So I may have lost the queen because I don't see eggs anywhere, in this frame at least. There are a lot of bees in here, but I don't see any brood. So that tells me that whatever was left and they're filling this with nectar and so forth. So I lost the queen. This was the one that I saved. She either died, which I don't think that's the case. Um, I took the queen cell out, but she still split. And because I took the queen cell, I guess, even though I'd seen her, all of the brood has hatched, emerged, and I mean, unless I pull out one of these frames, but there's no brood. They're just filling this with nectar. There's no eggs. So I have a couple choices. What I may end up doing with this one is I'm not going to do anything tonight. I may end up just combining this with that hive right there. So that would have been the new queen that they got anyway. She is laying eggs. As soon as I can tell that she is laying brood, worker bees, then I will. Yeah, lost a queen. And for some reason, they, I guess, didn't have enough resource. When I took that queen out, there were still some eggs, but they must not have created. If they waited too long, if she still split, then they wouldn't have been able to create a queen. So you take a chance. I took the queen cell out, but again, that queen emerged within like 2 or 3 days, so she was just about ready to split, and that's what she did. So it is annoying, a wee bit frustrating. There's nothing I can do about it. I gave it a try. I got a new queen out of it, so I'll basically be at 4 hives. I'm not. Hey, bunnies! There's a bunch of bunnies running around right here. I'm not gonna try and introduce brood, and I don't think. I'll give it a. I'll think about it a little bit. All right, so I'm not really looking for a queen because I don't see evidence that she's in here. I mean, there's no eggs. They're not building a queen cell, but they're gonna die off here sooner than later if I don't. And if there was a queen in here, I'd kill her because she's not doing anything. All right, fun times. I say this every time. The life of a beekeeper. All right, there are a few more drones to be born from here. Yeah, there's 2 more frames. I don't see any brood on here. So the queen is gone. Just the last of the brood is still set to be hatched. Well, I say that. I'm being pretty glib here, but maybe I see some eggs down there. Oh, I'm lying. I see some eggs. What? All right, so I'm not sure what's going on. That means there is a queen in here. Oh, the conundrum. Oh, yeah, this whole thing is filled with. Huh. So a couple things could have happened. It could be that she still split and they created a queen, and she would have still had time to leave and come back. Or it could just be this queen continues to be really confusing to me. All right, so here I am just being really flippant and glib. Um, in fact, it looks like I do have a queen in here. They are not creating. Oh, here's brood. I should have started on this side. So is the queen on here? Being gentle, do not drop this. And there she is. Okay, well, what do I know? Apparently very little. But there is the queen, and she is relaying eggs here. And she's doing it in weird spots. Like this is on the outside. So I'm not sure what's happening here. But we're going to rearrange stuff just a little bit, see if we can encourage her to use some other things. I don't know what's up with this queen. She's kind of confusing and annoying. So I'm going to put this back together. Wow, so that's literally how it often goes. I just went through this entire hive, mostly hoping to get honey, but also just to actually see that I had a queen. So here's what it is. I'm going to restack this stuff. I'll let them go about the rest of their business here. And that was kind of fun. All right, so I'm going to put this down. I think I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to restack this how it was. So this is all that honey. I'm hoping certainly within 2 weeks. Oh, that's no fun. They will, everything's just so sticky right now. They will, hopefully within 2 weeks, they will cap the rest of that and we'll be good to go. We can get some honey out of here. All right. Well, that was fun. All these bees up here. Take this out. Sometimes it's just not a gentle thing. Like, you got to get the bees off, and that's just one way to do it. All right. Well, so for future record, new queen. She's there. She's laying. Old queen. Not laying a lot, but where she is laying, it is solid. I don't know where her deal is. It really could just be that she is a lot of nectar, and she just might be saying, look, because the 2 frames that she is laying, they're pretty full of brood. So she has a good laying pattern. She's not laying a lot. It could just be that they really don't have enough space. They are not building comb out. There's just nothing I can really do about that except just be annoyed, quite honestly. All right, well, let's see if we have any honey over here. This is another one of the new queens. So we're looking to see if there is honey, because this was from the, trying to find a good place to put this here. This was from, I have no long, okay, this is going for 30. It's really hard for me to see the reflection. So 37 minutes. Yeah, this is a new queen. She emerged. She is in here. Let's see if we're getting any honey out of her. So this is, I left boxes on here. Yeah, interestingly, there's not a lot of bees coming and going. So there's a chance that the queen, I feel like I'm pessimistic about every single thing, but there's just not a lot of bees in here. I can hear the bees, but there's not a lot going on. I do know that the queen emerged. I saw her in here. There's no nectar or anything up here. They're not building this out. Yeah, they're not putting anything on these. All right, so I'm just going to take this one off. This one's simple. Goodbye. I'm going to take this off. Let's see what we got going on down underneath. It smells great, I will say that. A lot of bees. Close to capping, but again, it doesn't look like a lot has been capped. Not much I can do about it. They can do whatever they do, but let's see. Yeah, same deal. So capping the top, you can see this one looks white. So this is very full. So this will be a lot of good honey soon. It's just not quite there yet. And no queen on here. So much like that queen, this queen, if she was able to fly and come back, and she mated correctly, or was mated, then I do expect to see cells in the bottom one. She would just be laying in the last week or so. Now this frame has a lot of pollen on it, and there were a bunch of queen cells on here. They've eaten most of those queen cells away, which they do once a queen emerges. They get rid of all the other cells. I might have one frame here that's about fully capped, so you can see that, and I can see that. Same deal, just filling it with nectar. Filling it with nectar. This one looks pretty. It's not fully capped, but almost. So that's probably the most capped we've seen so far. There's no eggs on here. This is all nectar. That side, nice and white, capped. Remember I said when it looks white like that, that's just called dry capping. They just leave a little hint of air between the honey and where they capped it, but otherwise there's nothing else about it that's unique or different. And no one knows why they do it differently. Yeah, same deal, capped. So what I could say is it feels like I could easily get. We've just been in drought. That's part of the reason. I would have certainly expected to have taken honey once already, and I just haven't. They're filling really well, but they're just not capping it. And I think it's just because of the drought. They're getting really close. All of these are partially capped at least. So what that means for me is that I need to make sure they have enough boxes, and then um, I'm going to have to wait till I'm back from travel in 2 weeks because there's no way they're going to have this capped before I leave. That side's almost fully capped. It looks nice. And the birds are singing. It's a beautiful day. Lots of honey. All right, so let's get down into this other box. Excuse me for that. Don't sting me. All right, let's get the stuff in here. And let's see if we can go find a queen. This is very heavy as well. So again, all of these are nearly done. That is heavier than the other one. That's probably 30 pounds at least right now. Um, maybe a little bit heavier. All right, so there's a lot of bees in here, which, makes sense because they. So I don't expect to see like capped brood yet. Oh man, there's pricklies back here. But let's quickly and gently see if we can find queen in here. Same deal. I'd given them some frames, and they actually are making use of some of them. So I'm going to be real gentle as I pull these out because I don't want her new queen. I'm so sorry for those noises. It's just allergies. All right, so let me show you this. I don't think the queen's on here. So again, we're just hoping that she made it back. So all of this has been built out. This is all fresh honeycomb. So they are drawing it out on here. They're actually doing something with it. So that's cool. I'm going to put this one. Now, how do I want to do this? Actually, I might just do. No, I don't want to do that either because that's really getting in the way. So, all right, I'm just going to put this down, real gentle like. So what I want to see is I do want to see some eggs in one of these, and that will let me know the queen is here. Hopefully see the queen, and that then will say that hopefully she got out. Now again, we didn't have a lot of rain, so it was a good. Oh, there she is. Oh, she's dark. Oh, she's a darker queen. It's pretty. Um, yeah, this is hard, but she's right there, walking along and away. So I don't want to take her away from the hive too much. And they will walk all along the edges. So I'm going to wait till she's back on the face so I can now look. Yeah, there's eggs that are developing down inside of there. So she has been laying for probably at least a week. So I know she's on there. It's interesting. She's like a darker color than most of my other queens. And same on here. Yeah, there's a bunch of hatched eggs down in there. All right, so I have my queen. That's exciting. So I'm going to just let her down in here. I'm just going to put this back in. I'm not going to trap her. I'll just have to, she could easily go to another frame. So this is all honey. I can just tell by the weight. So there's not going to be any eggs on here. Yes, that's all honey. Yeah, so we need to make sure she has another frame that she can lay eggs on. And right now, it's not these couple, or she's going to start to get kind of frustrated. All right, so a bunch of eggs in here. So they are clearing out some spots for her to lay eggs. They are building out that one frame. It looks like they're building out this frame. which is good. Yeah, so now they're going to town on this frame. They are building it out on both sides. So they will have some comb soon for her, but here's what I did. I thought I brought, oh, I used that over there. Okay, so that's good. So we have two frames that they're trying to build out pretty quickly, and then she can use them for brood. And again, this is all, just by the weight, I can tell this is all supplies. Not going to be any brood on there. So this one had some eggs in it as well. So, yes, they had some eggs on there. And this side, maybe. So we're going to put that out here. Put this one next to that. Oops. Might have just crushed a bee there. Real gentle. That's all honey. Supplies. Yeah, this is by the weight. I can just tell by the weight. So this is all honey. Supplies. So they need space for her to lay eggs, and they don't have that right now. They do have it above, so she could come up and start to maybe lay up there. But yeah, so I'm going to try and be really gentle. Let them, they're going to town. They're trying to build this out pretty quickly so that she has some brood. Some space for brood. That's good. Yeah, but again, no capped honey. A little bit frustrated. I was hoping for some capped honey. But it's not about me, is it? This is really close. So I do have, oh man. So here's what I'm going to do, I think. To give her space, I'm going to put the empty box on top. I don't really want that there, but that's just the quickest, easiest way to do that. I'm going to put this one on top, so she could come up and use this. I don't prefer that, but I don't have a bigger box right now. And so that's my best bet. They'll come up through. These are really close to being capped, so they'll just have to come up and heat it up and take care of it. So, all right. 3 for 3 so far. It's pretty awesome. Good old pessimistic Ryan. So now I'm going to go down here and see what we got. Here's the pasture. All right, so in theory, if I remember correctly, I think this is the queen that came out of that hive down there. I thought I lost her, but then I saw her right before I left. This was the split, which was doing really well. And so I put some extra on there. So, see if we can get this going a little bit more. Again, I really haven't needed it, but for some reason I always want to make sure I have smoke if I need it. All right. Man, I was really hoping I'd be able to pull some frames off for smoke for honey, but as long as they're doing a good job, I'm happy. So just to show you what's going on here, this is called bearding. Oops. Now I have a reflection. So you see all these bees on the front of that hive? So this is the hive we were just in, and it's just hot. So, for me putting them back together, and it was probably hot inside of there, and so that's just called bearding. They kind of come out the front just to get the rest. All right, let's see what's going on here. This hive was pretty active just a few minutes ago, so I know there are bees in here. I was hoping that they would do a lot more with honey, but it doesn't look like they have. But they are trying to build some stuff out, so let's see what's going on here. Oh man, so they've connected the top and bottom with wax. It's really hard to get those out. Yeah, just filling it with nectar. So I mean, I've said this like 100 times already, so I sincerely apologize, but it's a lot of nectar. Like there's a lot of honey coming. There's just not a lot of honey yet. Yes, they literally connect it to the frames below. It makes it really hard. Okay, so the queen is laying eggs up here. So she could be here, but so I have a queen, and I think this is not like a new queen. This was my old queen. I think this was the good queen, and so she's creating brood, and that's a good thing. So now we're just quickly going through here, making sure that there's not a queen cell, things like that. I just want to get a hint on she is not laying brood over here. This is mostly nectar, and this is almost all honey that's being capped. So that's good. That's good. That's good. I put a couple frames in here that they could rebuild, and they've cleaned them up, but they haven't really. So this like has a whole spot in here that's not filled out. They will do that eventually, but there's no nectar in here at all. So the nectar is obviously the foragers, and as I've shared before, the foragers are the oldest, or some of the oldest bees. It's one of the last jobs bees have. And so this was a hive that we're building up. That means it didn't have as many foragers to begin with. So they are not going to have quite as much by way of honey supplies yet, which is proving to be true. All right. So I'm being pretty quick here. I don't expect the queen to be up here. It's just that one frame that had brood on it. This looks like it could have brood on it, but I don't see any. It's kind of set up for that, but I don't see brood on here. So they're trying to set it up with nectar, honey. All right, so what I'm going to do is spread these apart. I'm going to put this one that has some brood, some eggs on it. So this has eggs right there. I'm going to put that in the middle. Partially so that I know where it is, but that's generally where it should be anyway. And then all these others are being capped with honey. Oh, well, let me take this one that needs to be cleaned up. Put that in the middle too. So if they need to, they could use that for brood. I don't want her to feel pinched out like she needs to swarm. All right, so I'm going to take this, quickly lay it back here. I use my lid, so I lay the lid upside down and I put the boxes in the lids, just so they're not right on the ground. All right, I see brood down in here. It looks like it's regular brood. I don't think it's all. But again, there's some frames I was hoping they'd build out, and they haven't fully built those out yet. So let's see what's going on. That's really the hard thing. They need the younger bees to create comb, but they are not doing it. So this has been 2 weeks. There's no comb on that at all. I probably need to get some more wax on them, so I will try. We're cleaning up some other frames, and I will get them in here as soon as I can with new wax. Yeah, same deal. So they've done, I mean, literally nothing. They haven't even tried to pull out comb. It's really disappointing. But I know I have a queen because I know I have. All right, so they've pulled this out, but she's not laying eggs down here. That's weird. Yeah, there's no eggs in here. She should be using this for eggs. Now, there's very little supply on this. There's no nectar or um, protein, which is pollen. There's no pollen. So that could be why she's not using it, but I don't know why they're not putting it in there. So I'm just trying to see if there are eggs down in there, and I don't see any. Yes, this is one of my splits that I split out. So yeah, this would be a young queen. She didn't have a ton of supply. Like I didn't give her as much as I probably should have by way of bees. So actually, the more I'm thinking about this is not totally surprising. But there is some brood here, probably like some of the last brood. But yeah, there's eggs in here. So okay, so the queen's here somewhere. So yeah, this queen would have been back for probably a better part of 2 weeks, especially with the weather we had. There's no reason she shouldn't have been able to get out. There's lots of new brood on here, lots of eggs being hatched. So she's here somewhere. It's got to be gentle. Bunch of queen cells are still chewing apart. So that would have been from before. Yeah, that's right. So this is one of the ones that I put like a bunch of queen cells in and just kind of said like, let's see what happens. All right, so she's in here somewhere. 2 more frames. So I'm not going to do anything else this one. I'm not going to give them more. I would like them to draw these frames out, but they'll start to, oh wow, look at that. Totally packed of brood. So she's going to be on here somewhere, I'm going to guess. Hello, where are you? Are you on this side somewhere? Almost always in the last frame or two. It's so frustrating. All right, so here's the good news overall. I have now 4 and hopefully 5 hives that have queens. They're laying. If I can get the visual on the queen, that'd be great. But I'm not going to go. I mean, I see lots of eggs, so I'm not going to get too wound up about it. I don't have the honey I was hoping to have. That's mostly just selfish more than anything. But this is what it is. So I can probably just choose to let these alone. And when I get back from my next work trip, I can come out, hopefully get the honey at that point, make sure the bees are doing okay. Yes, they don't have to be too. Oh, there's the queen. Hey, little lady. All right, so she's doing her thing. I don't see. So she's walking around. I don't see. Man, it is so easy to lose the queen all of a sudden. Like I literally was just looking at her, and now you guys just stand back for a second. Oh, that's so weird. I hate when that happens. She might have gone to this side. Oh, yeah, a lot of brood over here. So she's doing a great job. All right. Well, I'm going to let them go and hope that they. Oh, there she is. Just keep building out what they need to build out. What I am going to do is I am going to move these things to the center a little bit because that's generally where the brood should be. And then I'll put these other frames on the outside and hope they start to lay some um, stock these up. I can put some new ones in that have more um, wax on them and hope that helps. But I don't have any. I don't think I have any additional ones up here that are better. Might be this one sitting over here that I could reuse. Yeah, I don't know if these two are any better per se. They feel a little bit better than these, so maybe I'll put these two in and hope that that one has wax. I'll let that one be. This one did not really have anything in it. So put this one in, see if they can do a little bit more with that. And then maybe I'll see if they do anything with that one.